Peace and blessings, everyone. I'm here with Dr. Milton Mills. And if you don't know him, you need to know him. He's spoken at Vegan Soul Fest a number of times and all types of fests. Last Thursday, I had a topic that we talked about, is dairy a trigger for asthma? And I had some guests on that went to the asthma conference. And there was no talk about dairy and asthma. What do you have to say about that, Dr. Mills?
So the way that I want people to understand why dairy is so bad it's bad for everybody, but it's particularly bad for people with asthma, is you have to understand how our respiratory tree protects itself from the environment. Our respiratory tree is lined with sputum. And it traps sputum, just sputum, a thin layer of mucus that traps dirt, bacteria, fungus. As we breathe in, it traps that stuff so it doesn't get down into our lungs. And the little cilia, the little hairs that line the respiratory tree, move that mucus up to the back of our throat, and sometimes we actually spit it out, or most of the time we swallow it without even thinking about it. But that's the way it keeps itself clean. Mucus, right? Well, when you think about it, when you're carrying your baby's lungs aren't working because you're doing all the breathing for the baby, right? But as soon as the baby's born and takes that first breath, its lungs have got to start producing mucus to protect itself. That is what your milk stimulates the lungs to do, so that baby's lungs can protect itself. Well, a cow's milk does the same thing for the calf. It stimulates the production of mucus. But that means that when humans drink that cow's milk, they start overproducing mucus, which clogs up their respiratory tree.
Right.
And that's what causes an asthma exacerbation.
Wow.
Furthermore, the mother's milk is filled with compounds that stimulate the immune system, cause it ramps up inflammation. Now, a certain amount of inflammation is good because you want your immune cells to be, on the lookout for the bad guys. But again, if your immune system is already working normally and you start taking in extra inflammatory compounds, you cause them to overreact.
Right.
It's like giving police officers methamphetamine.
I used to get this buildup. I don't know, it was calcium buildup that used to come up when I used to consume dairy. It's like this thing, and it was disgusting looking.
You get. They're called oh gosh, what is that called?
I don't get that anymore. It's disgusting.
There's a word for them.
What is it called?
Something lifts.
Is that
they
from
form
dairy?
in the back.
It's in the fishers.
In the fissures of your tonsils.
I don't get that anymore.
Something lifts.
When I stopped drinking dairy, I didn't get that
Exactly.
ever again.
Yeah.
And then
It's an immune response.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
That was perfect. I appreciate you for sharing that. We're gonna put this out.
Yeah, and so
dairy does trigger
it causes
asthma.
overproduction of mucus, clogs up not just your respiratory tree, but your sinuses too.
Everything.
And and then that excess mucus becomes a breeding ground for bacteria and all kinds of pathogens, and that's why people have all this inflammation going on.
Where can people find more information about you and what you teach, Dr. Mills?
They can go to my website, Dr. Milton Mills, plantbasednation.com. And there's lots and lots of information there. That's Dr. Milton Mills, plantbasednation.com.